Hi, it's Jennifer Trask, mindset coach for driven entrepreneurs, and today is an exciting day because today is the first of 2 weeks of videos in a series called Change Your Story, Change Your Results. Before I get to today's content, which is the number one goal you need to have in order to have a successful business, and it's probably going to surprise a lot of you, so stay tuned for that. I just want to tell you what this series is about so that you can benefit from it the most. So over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of videos with the hashtag CYSCYR, change your story, change your results. And what we're going to be talking about is why your story matters so much. What are the most common sabotaging stories entrepreneurs talk about? I call it the sabotage loop. And how can you change them? Because the biggest thing that slows us down in business is the story that goes on between our ears, and it shows up in so many different ways. So today, for the first video in this series, I wanted to talk about the number one goal that your business needs. And in order for this to make sense, you really need to understand what's the main thing that all businesses need, no matter what industry they're in. And the biggest thing they need is momentum. So if you think of an analogy of a car on a road, if you're on a motorway, which car is going to get to the end destination faster? The car that's driving 100 kilometers an hour straight, not veering, just keep going? Or a car that goes fast, then it slows down, then it might take a pit stop, then it gets on the road, and then it stutters for a bit, then it takes another pit stop, maybe has lunch, gets back on the road, starts to go fast, slows down a bit. You see where I'm going with this. Most entrepreneurs are running their businesses like the second scenario car, where you're taking a lot of pit stops. So your momentum is breaking. And this is the same as in productivity, where science has proven that every time you get distracted, you end up losing about 20 minutes of time. Even if the distraction itself was a minute, the amount of time it takes to get yourself back on track and in the groove and in the zone is on average 20 minutes. And so if you think about how often we get distracted, if you aren't really good with getting yourself distraction free, that's a lot of distraction time you're losing. So the biggest thing that you need in your business is momentum. You need to be the car that is consistently moving forward and not stopping. Because when you're consistently moving forward, we've all had those times in our lives where things are going really well and this works and that works and that works. And the same thing happens for our businesses. And so in order to really think about, well, what should this number one goal be for any entrepreneur? Well, think about what actually stops momentum. So particularly if you're a solo entrepreneur or you have a very small team or just contractors, the biggest thing that slows you down is when something triggers you and then you go into negative emotion. So think about your most productive days. Those days are when you're on fire, you're excited, you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and just all is right in the world and you get so much done. Sometimes you feel like you got a week's worth of work done in an hour, right? I know I've definitely had these times. They're amazing. I try to have as many of those as I can. We've also had other days where we're just not feeling so hot, and no matter what we do, we just can't get it together to feel good and therefore be focused and productive at work. Your mental state of mind affects your ability to produce that work. And so this is why the biggest goal, in my personal opinion, of all entrepreneurs is to get as happy as possible. Now, I know this sounds juvenile or simplistic, but when you really think about your most productive days, it's probably a trend that you felt good going into that day. And therefore, your ability to have emotional mastery over yourself is the most important thing because we are emotional creatures and that's how we run. So that's why I'm really excited about this series of videos that are coming to you, because we're going to be talking about how to gain emotional mastery. Like, what are the biggest stories that stop entrepreneurs? And I can tell you there's a trend. There's not that many of them. There's 7 to be 7 to be exact, that I have found are consistent trends for entrepreneurs. I've been working with entrepreneurs for 6 years closely and been one myself for 10. And I can tell you, oh my goodness, these are across the board. So here's what I want you to do. If you understand what I'm talking about, if you've ever experienced this loss in momentum and productivity because of, it doesn't matter what the trigger is. The trigger could be the loss of a potential client, a marketing campaign didn't do as well as you thought, something in your personal life went wrong and it's hard to get focused at work. Could be any of that stuff. But you notice that because you dove into negative emotion, maybe for a day, for a couple days, for a week, for a month, for a quarter, sometimes for a year for some people, it really took you out of the game, and therefore your business didn't get as far as it could have been if said thing didn't happen, right? Or if wherever you went emotionally didn't happen. Comment and let me know. And if you know someone who will be excited about this series, do tag them in this video so that they can see it too. I'm going to be using the hashtag CYSCYR, change your story, change your results, so that you can find them all. But we are going to be talking about them over the course of the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned. I can't wait to hear from you. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, whatever you feel, because this is an important story no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, no matter what industry. This affects us all because we're all human beings with emotions. And we want as many entrepreneurs who are out doing amazing things in the world to be successful, to reach their goals, and to change the world in the way that they are here to do so. So that's it. We'll see you in the next video, and I can't wait to hear from you. Bye.